Welcome to a special episode of the Building Texas Show. And we're going to do a number of these from the Why Texas event that is happening today and tomorrow in Garland at Dallas College. And I am thrilled to be reintroduced and visiting with you again with LaKesha Raynor from Dallas College. You're a director of the Ascend program.
So
Ascend Institute. Ascend Institute at Dallas College. And I'm just excited to talk about what you do there and get to know you a little bit.
So with the Ascend Institute, I'm the director of Workforce Development Apprenticeships Relationship Management. Try saying that 5 times fast. It just means that I actually work with our external partners to find out what we can do as far as any type of training that they might need for their employers, for their employees. And then we also talk with our internal partners to see how we can actually make that training happen.
So external partners would be businesses in the northeast area of Texas, or?
No. So I'm going to say that for Dallas College, we started out as being a community college. We were previously Dallas County Community College District. We've broadened our base. So we had some national partnerships that we did because of our Department of Labor grant. But I have the pleasure of actually speaking last year in Barcelona. And this year, next month, actually, I'll be in Monterey, Mexico. So we are having international presence as well.
That's fantastic. And I'm a big fan of Monterey, Mexico and Monterey Institute and everything that happens. And I appreciate that we're international in the work that you're doing. What connects you to Monterey or to Barcelona? What is the theme that is taking you there?
And while we're here today, it's all about Why Texas. So I got involved in a grant that is through the National Science Foundation. It's called our Texoma Logistics Innovation Engine. It's about creating that ecosystem for innovation hubs. So that's why I was really excited about some of the things we were talking about earlier today. Is because we were trying to figure out how can we look at what's happening with autonomy, what's happening with logistics, what's happening with cybersecurity. And I had to find something that would actually give me all of that in one spot. I did some research. I'm not going to lie and say that ChatGPT did not help. And we found out about Why Texas. And I had never gone to any of the conferences before. I went to the one prior to last year. So in 2023, went to my first event. We were able to do a speaking engagement there because we did a panel discussion about the NSF and the launching of that project. I was so happy because I am a big Dallas Cowboys fan, and you telling me I'm going to get to talk in the end zone. I felt like that was a winner. It was a win-win for me. So when we had our VIP event after it was concluded, Ed Curtis, who is the founder for Why Texas, asked if I would join the Why Texas host committee. I was above and beyond at that particular point. We then had the last one in 2024, October 2024, had a successful one at AT&T Stadium. At that one, there is a gentleman there by the name of Thomas Michael Hogg, who is over Inc. Monterey. He had me sit in on a panel, and then he invited me to come to Monterey, Mexico, and it just so happens that it was around that time. So right after spring break, get to be out there.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think we hear that a lot with Why Texas. Like, what is the event? What can I come and do? And when you look at the event and the speakers, it's a mix. It's a diverse group of people that are doing all kinds of work across the state, whether it's innovation, ecosystems and hubs and the education segment with Dallas College, or it's the Texas Space Commission that's coming in.
It is.
And I appreciate your story because that is what I see with Why Texas. You've got to be in the room. You've got to be open to the connections and opening to meeting somebody that might not be your immediate customer, but it could be a great new partner for expansion or continued development. So I would encourage people. That's where we met. Last October, we met at the Why Texas event.
That's right.
And it's been great to see what you're doing with the Texoma Logistics Group. And what does that become in the future? Because when you talk about logistics, that's a global...
It is.
I mean, it's a global brand.
It has great reach. So for Dallas College, we just got started with our NextGen sector-based strategies. One of them has to do with our freight mobility and logistics.
Yeah.
It was a good spinoff from what we were doing already through the National Science Foundation. We are listening to the employer partners. What is it that they would like to see us do? And we're letting them lead the conversation. So it was interesting today. We were on calls talking with our partners about what it is that our next steps would look like. And that's one of the things they talked about. Logistics has such a large scope. How do you even put it down? I think when we started out, it was just going to be our sector was called logistics. But they said that because we needed to look at freight, we needed to look at the mobility side, distribution and things of that nature, it broadened out. What I would circle back to is what why Texas gives to me in that scope. I was talking to a gentleman just before we came in about the Port of San Antonio because I was able to get some contacts there. One of the things I did last year was I was a part of the whole road show to the Why Texas event. So I got to talk to people who were investors who might be able to actually help us when it comes to that segment of it. I was able to talk to people who were in the public partnership sector. So I got involved with the public sectors for government, and that it was a launching pad all because of Why Texas. I could probably go on how many connections I've made because of what I've learned at Why Texas.
Well, and for Texas to succeed, we need everybody at the table, and we need to know what they're bringing to the table.
Exactly.
And not because of what they're bringing, but how can we plug them in? How can we take their talents and their capacity and plug it into somebody like you that has programming, has great opportunity. And I assume that with the employers you're working with, that can be helping their current employees. But with Dallas College, you're also raising the next employee.
That's true. So it's all about that next generation, the next gen.
Yeah.
Even in naming of the strategy that we're trying to take on, we understand that we need to be ready for what comes next.
Yeah.
If we still try to, I will say raise only in this sense, but if we still try to gear our students toward what they already will know, then they're going to be behind.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we've seen right now when it comes to autonomy and with AI says that we need to make sure that they're prepared for that. And so that's what Dallas College is trying to do. We are trying to be that incubator for the next space that they need to be a part of. It's also the reason why, again, why Texas was such a good thing. One of the things that I just recently was able to do, I was able to go out to Austin Film Society and I was able to visit there as well. Again, that was a connection that I got because of Why Texas.
I was amazed in October how much the Texas Film Society was doing. And then you see the McConaughey commercials and all this stuff. And that is a booming industry across our state.
It is.
But it's a technology industry.
It is.
It's a logistics industry.
It is.
All of these things come full circle.
Can you tell it to my people again?
We just
and
did.
I already, it's all encompassing. And so for me, they want us to be a part of specific sectors. So my two sectors have to do with logistics and also with the creative arts and education side of things. So I'm loving the mix that you see or how they commingle together.
Yeah.
So even though I was there trying to find out about what the Film Society do because we were looking to develop some of the type of apprenticeship programs they had there, they literally were showing me what they do logistics-wise. And so it was very interesting to see just all that takes place behind the scenes.
Things would not be on your table in the stores without logistics.
There you go.
People are often just not aware of what it takes. And those are jobs of the future.
It is.
Those are opportunities where we see automation, autonomy, and technology continuing to come in and be invested and developed. We're going to see an autonomous truck, I think, tomorrow.
And so some of the partners that I got involved with when I was starting in autonomy has to do with like Kodiak, Waymo, Aurora. Those were some of the partners we went and talked to. We said, if we're going to get into the autonomous vehicle side of things, how do we train the next generation to be a part of that? What I love is that there's this diagram that I use when I do a presentation. It's of a truck.
Yep.
And in that truck is to show all of the different things we're going to be teaching for that next generation. operation. Starting in the cab of that autonomous truck, we're talking about the actual driver and what they're doing to actually be behind the scenes to make sure that it's still operating correctly, even if they're not doing the driving. But then you go into the person that's in the right seat. That's the person that's in that command center, making sure that the things behind the scenes are taking place. You have the side when we're talking about taking and maintaining the vehicle that they're a part of. You're talking then about those people who might be inspecting, because that's a totally different realm than what we were talking about before. And then you're talking about the people who are back in the command center that's making sure that all of these things are moving at one spot. It's amazing.
Well,
the different things.
And when you talk about autonomous vehicles like that, people are like, well, the jobs are disappearing. And that is not true. I think it's just creating more jobs, but they're different jobs. Mm-hmm. So that particular driver becomes so much more and has an opportunity. Yeah, they get to be at home. We can think about the world very differently when it's not, oh, this is what we've always done. Mm-hmm. But instead, we can encourage the future workforce to say, what do I want to do? How can I be creative? What do I need to know to be successful? And that's developing quickly. It
is. So you talked about, are we taking away jobs? No, we are creating jobs. What we found is that a lot of people that in between. So actually, when it hits the turnpike until it's actually time to exit, that's a long trip. And you have all of these different things that can go wrong, or it could be, a long flight. I'm going to say, even though we're talking about driving, that a person has to go through. But then you have those last mile. That last mile is where people want to be, because it means that I get to go home at the end of the day instead of still being on the road overnight. Yeah. And so that's going to open up more jobs for that when we're looking at that. The hubs that would be created because someone has to come and pick it up, because again, he's only doing the stretch on the road.
The open road.
There you go.
Well, LaKesha, it's been such an opportunity and an honor to sit down and visit with you. We're going to do another day of great events here at Y Texas with our launch event.
Yeah.
And then we'll see you again in June.
Yeah.
And then in September with the Innovation Summit.
Yes.
Just want to remind our audience to get involved. Whether in June, we're going to be talking legislative session review, talking about the government, the infrastructure. How does that work? It's a hot topic right now. Mm-hmm. But then it all leads, education, policy, legislation, leads into that innovation element that you're driving every day in the work that you do. Mm-hmm. And that so many of these people is a great group at Y Texas. Even for this education-based event, we're seeing everybody come in because education ties back into everything we're doing as an economy, everything doing in Texas that's being built. Mm-hmm. We have to have the future workforce, and we can't continue to export them outside. Let's give them opportunity here.
Well, we have to teach to reach.
Yeah.
There you go. So,
well, thank you for the way that you're building Texas, the impact that you're having, and spending some time with me today.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for watching the Building Texas show. Be sure to follow us across all social media platforms and let us know what you like.